Tell us a bit about, you've been studying world religions and spiritual paths for a long time.
Absolutely.
And the first time I officially reached out to you and your team and everyone, which was a few years back now, was because I saw that you'd been reading the Gita.
Yeah.
And the Gita was obviously the book that I read and studied so deeply and fell in love with. And after having studied world religions myself too, and I've had beautiful experiences reading the Bible and the Quran and the Gita. And so when I saw you talking about it when you were in India, I was just like, wow, like this is amazing. Like I'm already a huge fan. I love Will Smith. Like how is Will reading the Gita? I was like, how did that even happen? And then when I got to know you and Jada and spoke to the family, I realized that you'd taken on a challenge to like study a world religion every year. And tell us about that and what you learned along the way. What were some of the traditions that stood out in your journey and what did you learn from them, whether it was the Kabbalah or even Scientology, all those, because you've shared so many beautiful lessons with me from what you've studied.
Yeah.
And I'd love to pass them on.
So what was, I guess probably in the first 10 years of our marriage, that was me and Jada's bonding, right? So every year we would pick a spiritual tradition and we would study it all the way through.
How did you even start doing that? Like, because when I heard you did that, I think Jada told me first, and when I heard you did that, I was just like, it just took me aback because you don't come across that all the time. And I was lucky enough to study world religions. My father started encouraging me when I was about 14 to start reading spiritual books. And I dated a Muslim girl who asked me to read the Quran. That's how I read the Quran, which was a wonderful experience in my life at 16. I read the Bible because we would celebrate Christmas and I'd feel guilty that we celebrated Christmas, but I hadn't read the Bible.
Oh, right.
So I started going to church on Christmas and then reading about Christ and the Bible, and I just absolutely fell in love with the scripture. And then I was just reading so many different books. And finally I came back to the Gita, which was the book I was brought up with.